The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the massive human fleet materialized at the edge of the Nexus system. Ambassador Zixathera's tentacles trembled as her sensors registered the impossible sight. 1,000 human warships arranged, in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with unknown alloys and bristling with weaponry that defied conventional understanding. "This cannot be," whispered Counselor Vrak, his crystalline form flickering with disbelief. The humans, they were barely capable of interplanetary travel when we last checked. James Mitchell stood at the command bridge of the UES Defiance, his weathered face calm, despite the magnitude of what they were about to accomplish. Beside him, Captain Fiza Rahman monitored the tactical displays, her dark eyes sharp with focus. The two had worked together for 5 years preparing for this moment, the day humanity would finally answer the galaxy's call. "Sir," Fiza reported, "all ships are in position. The Council's emergency broadcast is coming through." James nodded, straightening his uniform. "Put me through to the entire fleet first." The communication array crackled to life, connecting him to every human vessel in the formation. "This is Admiral Mitchell to all ships. Today we show the galaxy what humanity is made of. We've been silent for 50 years, not out of arrogance or indifference, but because we needed time to prepare, time to become worthy of the trust they're about to place in us." On the Council station, panic spread through the chambers as representatives from across the galaxy witnessed the unprecedented arrival. For half a century, Earth had ignored every summons, every plea for assistance, every invitation to join their conflicts. The galaxy had written off humanity as isolationists, too primitive to matter in the grand scheme of interstellar politics. They had been catastrophically wrong. "Open a channel to the Council," James ordered. Fiza's fingers danced across the controls. "Channel open, Admiral." The main view screen shimmered, revealing the terrified faces of the Galactic Council. Ambassador Zixathara, the current speaker, managed to compose herself enough to speak. "Hey, humans," she stammered. We sent distress signals months ago. The Devourers have consumed 14 systems. We thought you had abandoned us to face this threat alone." James stepped forward, his image projected into the Council chamber. "We received every message, Ambassador, every plea for help, every desperate call as system after system fell to the Devourers." Angry murmurs rippled through the chamber. Counselor Vrak's form blazed with indignation. "Then why? Why did you ignore our suffering? Billions have died." "Because," James replied calmly, "you needed us to be ready, not willing, ready." Fiza activated the tactical display, showing the approaching Devourer fleet. The dark ships moved, like a plague across space, consuming everything in their path. The readings were terrifying. Millions of vessels, each one capable of stripping a planet bare in hours. "When you first contacted Earth," James continued, "we were still fighting wars with chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. You asked us to join your conflicts with technology centuries behind yours. We chose a different path." The Admiral gestured, and the human fleet began to move. Not towards the Council station, but directly toward the approaching Devourer armada. The formation was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Precise, coordinated, and utterly fearless. 50 years ago, James explained as his ships advanced, we made a decision. We would master not just space travel, but space warfare. We studied every battle the galaxy had fought. We analyzed every defeat at the hands of the Devourers. We learned from your mistakes. Fiza monitored the advancing human fleet, pride swelling in her chest. She had been there from the beginning, watching humanity transform from a single-world species into something that could stand against the galaxy's greatest threat. "The first Devourer ship was spotted entering the Kepler system 3 hours ago," she reported. "Long-range sensors show their main fleet is still 6 hours behind." James nodded. Perfect timing. On the Council station, the representatives watched in amazement as the human ships moved with mechanical precision. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, incorporating the best technologies from across the galaxy and improving upon them with human innovation. The engagement began at the edge of the Kepler system. Human ships opened fire at ranges that shouldn't have been possible, their weapons striking with devastating accuracy. The Devourers, accustomed to easy victories against disorganized resistance, suddenly found themselves facing an enemy that had studied their every weakness. "Impossible," breathed Ambassador Zixthera. "They're actually pushing them back." Fiza smiled grimly as she watched the tactical display. "Admiral, the Devourers are attempting to adapt their formation. They're trying to surround our left flank." "Let them try," James replied. "Execute Protocol 7. The human fleet suddenly split into smaller formations, each one moving with perfect coordination. They had trained for this exact scenario, practicing the maneuver thousands of times in simulation. The Devourers found themselves not surrounding the humans, but surrounded by them. The battle raged for hours. For the first time in galactic history, the Devourers were not just being resisted, they were being systematically destroyed. Human ships moved like dancers, each one knowing exactly where the others would be, creating devastating crossfires and tactical combinations that turned the tide of battle. When the last Devourer ship finally exploded in brilliant silence, the galaxy held its collective breath. James opened a channel to the Council once more. His uniform was still immaculate, his expression calm. "Threat neutralized, Ambassador. We apologize for our tardiness." "How?" Counselor Vrak's voice was barely a whisper. "How did you do what we could not?" Fiza stepped forward beside her admiral. "Because we didn't just build ships," she said. "We built a doctrine. We studied not just how to fight the Devourers, but how to win against them." James nodded. "The galaxy has been fighting this war for decades, always reacting, always desperate. We spent 50 years preparing to end it." Ambassador Zixthara's tentacles swayed with something approaching reverence. "And the 1,000 ships? We're just the beginning," James smiled. "We have 5,000 more in reserve and production facilities that can build them faster than the Devourers can adapt." The Galactic Council chamber erupted in celebration, but James raised his hand for silence. "We didn't come here to conquer or to rule," he said. "We came here to finish what you started. The galaxy is safe now, but it will stay safe only if we work together." As the human fleet began rescue operations across the affected systems, one thing became clear to every being in the galaxy. Earth hadn't been ignoring them. Earth had been preparing to save them all.